Right now we are sitting down with my favorite Arkansas State University running back of all. We have a guy who's fought on Dana White's Contender Series, a guy who's a big-time name in MMA. We have a former Mr. Money in the Bank from WrestleMania 23, former WWE United States Champion, a former two-time TNA Heavyweight Champion, Mr. This guy directed Batman Heart of Ice on YouTube, an amazing fan film. Someone who is in the Ultimate Fighting Championship, the Ultimate Fighter at one point. That sounded weird. But helped run and promote Championship Wrestling of Arkansas for the little bit of time that it was around, as well as a professional wrestler from the early 90s. Guy is running Street Beef's Dirty South, a professional MMA fighter, and looking to make a debut sometime in the near future in bare knuckle boxing. We're the one and only Jason Voorhees, Mr. James Stokes himself. How's it going, James? Good to see you again. Welcome back to another great episode. I'm so happy that you're here on the Adam Talks podcast with me, Adam Shirley. Today we have an awesome guest. It's the second episode for this Tuesday. It is an awesome episode where we get to talk to somebody that I've talked to before, someone that's helped train me in wrestling a little bit. And before we get into that though, guys, I really want to ask you to do one real quick thing. It only takes a couple seconds out of your day, and it would mean the world to me if you could do it. If you're on YouTube, would you mind pushing that subscribe button? And if you're listening to us on one of the other streaming platforms, would you mind hitting that follow button? Guys, I can't tell you how grateful I am whenever you're able to do that for me. It takes literally just a couple seconds and it helps out so much. I am very appreciative for any of you that are able to do that. But today we are talking to our second guest for this Tuesday, and it is the current South Central Wrestling Cruiserweight Champion, Troy Twain. We talked to him about his upcoming match, May 11th, in this five-way battle for the Vapors Championship Wrestling Heavyweight Championship. We talk a little bit about Gaston, who he's defending the South Central Wrestling Cruiserweight Championship against, and we talk about all kinds of other things. So, guys, I'm not going to hold you up any further. This is my conversation with Troy Twain. Someone who's been on the show before, somebody who is still the reigning, defending Cruiserweight Champion for South Central Wrestling, Troy Twain. And you got a chance at the VCW Heavyweight Championship coming up May 11th. You are already the SCW Cruiserweight Champion, and you have a chance to put another championship on your shoulder. And this time it's a Heavyweight Championship. That must feel really good to have that opportunity. Do you hear me?
Yeah, it's definitely a good opportunity but it's definitely a good opportunity to have. I've been in this game for like 6 years now, and let's just be honest. I've never won a championship outside of my home promotion. And every chance I've got an opportunity to try to win one of those belts outside the promotion just came up short. So on May 11th at Vapors Championship Wrestling at Boogie's Bar and Grill in Hot Springs, Arkansas, I'm going up against four guys, elimination style match. And I don't care what they have earned. I don't care what they have accomplished, where they came from, or who they are. I know them very well, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to get that belt. That is my belt I want to win. Because I didn't spend 6 years being put on the sideline while everyone else wins gold everywhere else. It is my time now.
Do you think going into this match that you've earned it more than anybody else? You know what I mean? Like that you've put more work in than they have to get to this point?
Well, let's just look at the details. Since it's been announced that this match has started, I've been promoting this every week that I can. And where are the promos for my opponents? Nowhere to be found. Which means I'm putting the hard work and dedication to letting people know that this is legit. I am ready to win this whole thing and become the first ever VCW Heavyweight Champion. But before then, I got a date with Gaston in South Central Wrestling at the end of this month. Because let's face it, if I don't beat Gaston, he takes away my Cruiserweight Championship. And if that happens, there's a possibility I won't become a dual champion of Arkansas. But if you think about it, being a dual champion for Arkansas sounds really good on my, I guess you can say, resume, or just my achievements in general.
Definitely, man, definitely. You be our tribal chief, as it were, holding two championships at the same time, man. You know, you'd be the guy. You'd be the guy at that point. You know what I mean? You'd be a guy that is holding two championships, not only in Arkansas but in Hot Springs. You know what I'm saying? So people would know the name Troy Twain very easily around the Spa City, I would think. Uh, what has your journey been like? I seen this fiery promo that you did, man, against your for your last opponent that you went against when you defended it in what was it, a month or so ago in SCW. Someone was saying something about your mom or something like that.
Well, let's see. So last month, well, not last month. I think it was February. I was going one-on-one against Malik Bridges, who, in my honest opinion, is a wrestler that I looked at and said, like, he may not be the best competition, but when we stepped into that ring, I was very wrong. He gave me the best competition, and let me tell you something. If that's not a match of the year candidate for South Central Wrestling, I don't know what can be. But then again, we still got a lot of months ahead of us. But yeah, like this championship run that I'm on right now for South Central Wrestling as the Cruiserweight Champion is dedicated to my mother. Because let's face it, my mother is going through a lot of personal health, and don't want to really go into details about it, but it's a very personal thing that I'm dealing with, but she is doing the best that she can at what she can do, and she's living life as much as she can. So with that championship, I just want to not just prove that I am the true champion, but I'm going to do it while having my mom right here in my heart and right here on my back to support me.
Definitely, man, definitely. Would you say there's a gray area between heels and baby faces nowadays? Like the good guys and the bad guys, there's a really fine line between them nowadays, whereas in the past, there's definitely the bad guys and there's definitely the good guys. I feel like nowadays it's so hard sometimes to tell who's good and who's bad. There's a lot of people that I think walk that line. Would you say that it's like that in the modern day of wrestling?
Well, I think modern day of wrestling, it's really hard. Well, regardless, there's going to be a good guy and there's going to be a bad guy. The thing is, if a fan loves a bad guy, they're going to give that bad guy some love. But does that tell us to not be the bad guy anymore? Nah, we'll still be the bad guy as much as possible. But there might be some people that will hate our guts, and we'll just make those guys mad at us. But the only thing I can say about the fans cheering for the bad guys is that they got their support, and they love to see the bad guy do all the good work. But let's face it, good guys will always get that reaction, that cheer. It just depends on how they're I think in general with a bad guy too, like it's how we present it to the fans. And if we present it in a certain way, they'll get behind that. But in modern wrestling, everyone's going to love a certain character that puts in the hard work and dedication and just has that wonderful story about them. And with me, I did want to go back to being a good guy this year, but if you really think about it, as a bad guy, I'm still getting a good reaction, whether it's cheers or boos. So if you think about it, if I did want to turn good guy, there's got to be a reasoning behind that, and it could backfire on me. So I decided to just stay as a bad guy, and guess what? I'm still getting some good reactions out of the crowd. Even though I'm like literally telling them, come on, let me hear you. Hate my guts, love my guts, I don't care. Just give me a reaction. So
Definitely, man. Definitely.
yeah,
For me, man, whenever I've wrestled most recently, here we are, and I didn't even think of this. Here we are, two champions talking to each other. Current IWF Intercontinental Champion, current SCW Cruiserweight Champion. Both of us bad guys. Both of us don't really care what the audience thinks. We're going to do what we do either way when we're in the ring. It doesn't matter. They can love us, they can hate us, it doesn't matter. As long as they're getting some kind of a reaction. And that's my favorite thing whenever I rile them up. And I'm pretty sure you're the same, wouldn't you think so? Whenever they're booing you, whenever they're saying, "No, you suck," you're just like, yeah, it's because you can't do what I do like I do it in this ring. It's wonderful. I absolutely love it. But we've both been on the other side as well. As far as being the good guys. We've both been that way as well. My first 3 matches with Antonio at SCW, man. I was a good guy. I was as good as they come. High-fiving everybody. Yeah. But I think it comes easier to be the bad guy, especially when you're not a bad guy in real life. Wouldn't you say so?
well, my thing is like when it comes to the wrestling world, we are portraying a character that is like, I guess you can say like an alter ego, like a different kind of personality for the wrestling aspect. But when it comes to reality, like I'm James. I'm not Troy Twain.
Yeah.
I'm James. I'm the
Yeah.
guy that just loves to be able, because to me that's just how I've been raised by my parents. Is to be the nicest gentleman out there, give everybody the same respect as they give me to me. I don't hate nobody. The only time I'll hate somebody is if you give me a reason to make me hate you. Like I'm going to be what I was raised to be. And if anyone has a problem with that, talk to me about it. Like, tell me what's your situation that you have about me. Like, is there something you don't like about me? Because I can give you an honest answer about it. I'm an open book. So
Yeah.
when it comes to wrestling, like it's 2 different personalities and it's 2 different lifestyles, I guess you could say.
Definitely, man. I seen some of the pictures and stuff from the first BCW event, dude. It was packed. Boogie's was super packed, man. I don't think I've ever seen a venue that compact, that full before. What was it like performing in front of that probably wild crowd?
Well, for that first show, I think we were told that there was 125 people that showed up for that first event. And it is a bar show, so anything can happen at a bar show. But I think it was a very wonderful experience to be able to perform in front of that crowd. And I think everyone really put their hard work and dedication into making it something unique for the fans to see. And hopefully by May 11th for a new standard, hopefully we can either get those 125 people back and hopefully more people. Honestly, I would love to see people. That's good. But if I really want a high expectation out of this next show, let's try to get 200 people in there at least. 200
Yeah.
people for the crowning of the first ever heavyweight champion.
That would be cool, man. That would be awesome to be able to see that,
And we can only do that. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But the thing is, as long as we promote it strong and everyone works together to get these promos out, people will get interested in it. And if the crowds get bigger, we need to upgrade the venue. And like if anything, like one of these days, you never know. We could rent out the convention center for the night.
That would be cool, man. That would be really cool.
Out there.
That'd be really cool to see the convention, see VCW at the convention center. My God, man. I couldn't imagine just going in there and being like, I know the guys performing at this show. I've worked with the guys performing at this show. I've trained with some of the people performing at this show. That would be cool. That'd be really cool, man. Being able to say, I know those people. Uh, Apart from that, man, apart from the VCW stuff, uh, you gotta stop Gaston or Gaston. I don't know. Is it Gaston? Whatever his name is. Gaston. You gotta stop him from getting his fairy
The
tale
storybook
ending
lore.
at SCW. How are you gonna do that?
Well, this ain't my first rodeo with Gaston. I met him last year, and guess what? I made him go night night forever because I just kept kneeing him in the face until the referee finally stopped the match to save his life. And this time, I'm just not going. This time, like I'm not going to put him to sleep. I'm just going to end it with the 3 easiest steps. I'm going to hook him up, line him up high in the sky, and sink him down for the 1, 2, 3 hook, line, and sink.
Done, man. Done.
Basic and simple.
Wow. You know, getting one real quick question before we transition to something else. What do you think the state of Arkansas professional wrestling is right now? How do you feel that the state's professional wrestling scene is as a whole?
Right now, I think, honestly, I think everyone is doing a good job of getting it out there that Arkansas wrestling is a thing again. Because, like I said, we got South Central Wrestling in Mount Pine. We got VCW in Hot Springs. You got Out of Control Wrestling in Hoxie. Like, you got all these promotions that have something special going on. And one of these days, there's going to be wrestlers or other promotions outside the states that are going to notice that, and they're going to want to see if they can do some partnership. That way, they can get talent from their promotion to come down to Arkansas and have some fun over here at these other events for the promotions of Arkansas wrestling. So, in my honest opinion, I think Arkansas wrestling is on the rise of becoming noticed again. It's just continuing to make everything better. That way, we'll get to the point to where everyone is actually noticing these promotions in the state from other states. And who knows, if anything can go global, but that's going to take a long, long time to get to the global aspect. But just from state to state, that's going to be the main goal.
Definitely,
For sure.
man, definitely. I think Arkansas wrestling is just growing. It's continually growing. I mean, we got CCW in Fort Smith as well. I think isn't the promotion in Tuckerman still going on? Is it ASWF, MACW, something like that? I think it's still going on, possibly. And then, like you said, Hoxie has OCW. There's what is it? DFW? No, Down South Wrestling, something like that. DCW. With Spider and all them down there. There's just wrestling promotions popping up all over, and they're doing a good job, and that's the cool thing. That's the really cool thing to see is that they're doing a good job. The Mountain Wrestling, I think, is another one that just came up, and they're doing big things as well. Diamond State Wrestling doing big things as well. I think we are on the upswing as far as professional wrestling in the state, because up until 2018, I didn't even know Arkansas had any pro wrestling. And since then, I have seen a growth in promotions in Arkansas that I didn't think was even possible. High level production values all over the place, big crowds, small crowds, it doesn't matter. We got some of the best athletes, I think, in the state. And I believe you're one of those great athletes, So it's really cool to see the state growing in professional wrestling. And like you said, only time will tell how far we actually go as a state in professional wrestling. But getting off of the topic of Arkansas professional wrestling, what are your thoughts on AEW, man? I know a lot of people that absolutely hate AEW. And I know a lot of people that, it doesn't matter either way. And for me, I used to love AEW when they first came around because I thought they were the new WCW. But here lately, it's kind of, gone downhill for me. The stories aren't really sticking together. You got really cool matches, but not a lot more than that. What are your thoughts on AEW?
Well, my thoughts on AEW goes to what CM Punk said in his interview with MMA Hour. He definitely peeled the curtain on a lot of issues that has happened in that promotion. And to me, the issues with that is like, I feel like they're more focused on getting the best matches and not wanting to grow their audience and grow the money. They're more focused on getting the ratings than getting the money to keep this going. And then, of course, like backstage, there's no leadership. There's no there's no one that's being the boss to put everyone in their place, to let them know, like, hey, this ain't about fun and games. This is legit. This is a business, and we need to make money out of this business. Because if you think about it, they might have the money to keep going for years to come, but if they don't fix the backstage issues and just focusing on making money for the company with legit stories to tell and not just random matches, and actually have a leader that's willing to put the foot down and correct the behaviors backstage, we might not have an AEW from who knows in 5 years or 10 years. Because believe me, I love AEW because it's a alternative to WWE. But I would say that was the case when it first started out. But if you see the product and the issues that's come from what has happened in a couple of years ago, it's making you really think, okay, is AEW the best option to go to? Should I just mainly focus on trying to get to WWE? Because it seems like WWE is at its hottest state right now. Like, look at the matchups you got for WrestleMania 40. You got Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes 2. You got Roman Reigns and The Rock teaming up to go up against Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. Like, you got Bayley versus Io Sky. You got Jay Cargo literally teaming up with Naomi and
Bianca Belair
to go up against Damage Control. Like, they've always taken, since the issues that have happened, WWE has took Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, and Jay Cargo, which honestly are probably three of the hottest stars that they had at that time. And it's now kind of backfiring on them, especially with CM Punk, because he was, let's just be honest, he was the top star of AEW. And unfortunately, things happened, and look where he is now. Unfortunately, he didn't get a chance to have a WrestleMania match because of his injury at the Royal Rumble, but he's still a big part of that. And he's still going to be a part of WrestleMania as being the commentator for Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre for the World Heavyweight Championship. And let's be honest, that's going to get interesting because he's going to say anything he wants to match up.
Yeah, I agree completely. I mean, I think that AEW, the problem with AEW is they didn't have a leadership figure backstage, controlling things and helping to keep things together, helping keep things put together where you knew what you could do, what you couldn't do. And, I don't know the specifics because obviously neither of us are at AEW or anything. Otherwise we would be making a lot more money than we're making, so, but I think that CM Punk may have been onto something, and it seemed like it was the way he's saying it wasn't wrong, you know. Tony Khan just kind of lets stuff happen. If somebody says, let's do this, he's like, oh, that sounds good, let's do that. Or if someone else says, oh, I don't want to lose, he's like, oh, okay, you don't have to lose, you know. And it's not a good business. It's not a good way to go about business. If you have a plan, you need to stick to the plan. And I think that's part of the reason why the stories, like I said earlier when I was talking about my thoughts on AEW lightly, that's why I think the stories aren't as good as they once were, because you've got all these people saying, I don't want to lose here, I don't want to lose here, and Tony just letting them do it, you know?
Yeah.
Again, this is purely speculation. We have no clue about any of the behind the scenes stuff, but, you know, that's just my thought on that.
If there's one thing I can add, if CM Punk is telling Tony Khan, the boss, can you fix this situation? And the one thing he tells you is, what do we do about it? That is a problem. There's your problem right there.
That is a problem.
Because he wasn't willing to address Jungle Boy, Jack Perry, with the whole glass incident. And just like the cussing, because apparently Jack Perry was cussing out a lot of people. And then here's Tony Schiavone telling Punk, like, hey, can you come help us with the situation with Jack? And apparently Jack understood CM Punk and where he was coming from, but then as soon as we get to the London event for All In, he's like, real glass, go cry me a river. Like, are you serious?
Yeah,
now, here's my thing.
I think WWE. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would say this. Like, I don't know what the issue is with Jack Perry. I would think that he's a good guy. I wouldn't think he would have an issue, but you never know. It's like one of those sayings, "Don't meet your heroes." That seems like that is the case for Jack Perry, because like he might seem like a young hero to a lot of people, but it seems like his behavior backstage is not good. But
Yeah.
he's in New Japan Pro Wrestling. He's got some stuff going on there. I think he's a part of House of Torture. We'll see where that goes, but he's got this new persona called the Scapegoat. So we'll see where it goes, but I just wish that they can fix the issues backstage, because Tony Khan needs to be the boss, and he needs to stop being a nice guy. Because here's the thing, he's probably a nice guy.
I agree.
But if you're going to continue to be the nice guy and not the boss, this business is not going to last long, because you're not keeping things under control. And guess what happened? You lost Cody Rhodes, and then you lost CM Punk. And, of course, Jay Cargo, but I don't know the issue with that. But those are the two main people. That's a big hit. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, well, not only them three, but also Andrade left and went back to WWE as well. You know?
Oh,
so
yeah.
that's a whole other person that left. And even before them, Brian Pillman. Now Sean Spears is in NXT as well.
And
you know?
I forgot to mention them, but like I said, like everybody's just leaving now. And that's an issue. Like, if you're starting to lose your wrestlers to the competition, who else is going to jump that boat? And I can tell you this, now this is just speculations. We don't know the issue with MJF right now. All we know is his contract expired the final day of 2023, and he's out recovering from injuries. At this point, if I was MJF, as he said, he's going to the promotion that gives him the highest amount of money. But I would look into that. Like, would you rather go to AEW where it is struggling, or do you want to go to the WWE where the product is hot, but you have an opportunity to grow even more over there? And if he goes to WWE, that's another nail in the coffin for AEW.
I agree completely, man. I agree completely. I think The Rock and Roman were both right whenever they said they made wrestling cool again. because it feels like a revival of the Attitude Era almost, man. There's cussing, there's blood on TV, there's some wild stuff going on. But the better thing about what I'm going to start calling Attitude Era 2.0 is they have much better stories now. There's actual stories being told, long-term storytelling and short-term storytelling going on, and that's awesome. That's something you didn't see in the Attitude Era. You know, you saw Car Crash TV from Vince Russo, who was in there in the back being like, bro, look, Vince, bro, here's what I'm going to say, all right? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take and make Al Snow eat his dog, okay? Big Boss Man's going to feed him his dog. It's going to be great. He's going to bro, things are going to go great. People are going to freak out, bro. It's going to be great. Awesome ratings, bro. So that was Attitude Era stuff you got. And now you got Triple H in the head, and he's like, stories and really good matches. And we're like, give me that, Papa H. You know, all of us are wanting that, and we're getting it. We're getting what we've wanted for, I mean, personally for me, at least the past 5 years. Triple H, I've been saying, should have taken over WWE. And I'm super happy that he has, because, man, NXT back in like 2018, 2017, stuff like that, dude, it was just on another level. It was head and heels beyond WWE or beyond Raw and SmackDown's product. And now we're getting that same feel brought to the main roster as well as NXT the way it is right now. I mean, think about, like you were saying, you think about all the matches that you're getting right now, you know. You got Roman and Cody in the main event of night 2. And it is directly influenced by the main event of night 1, Roman and Rock versus Cody and Seth Rollins. I mean, let's go ahead and get into it, man. Let's get into the WrestleMania 40 card, and let's talk about it, because that's what everybody's talking about right now. It is the big thing right now. It is 2 days away as far as time of recording. This is coming out on Tuesday, so the Tuesday following Mania. And then people will be able to see if we're right or wrong once this comes online. So let's go ahead and see what happens. Who do you have for Bayley versus Io?
Okay, well, first off, before we start talking about WrestleMania, the Attitude 2.0, I think what people has been calling this new era is called the Renaissance era. Now,
oh, okay.
I can see what. I think that's what people are calling it. I'm not sure if that is what the fans are calling it, or if that's what the actual wrestling promotion or just the wrestling business in general is calling it for WWE right now. But I will say the only reason why all this is happening is because one man is finally out of the company altogether, and that is Vince McMahon. Guy's been out of touch for a long, long time. And the fact that he's finally gone, and, well, there's a reason why he's gone, and we don't need to go into details about why he's gone, but I'm happy that WWE is now a product that everyone loves to tune in. But it all comes down to what happens at WrestleMania. So with WrestleMania talking now, Bayley and Io Sky, let's face it, Bayley is in need of a moment for a long, long time. She has put in hard work and dedication throughout her whole entire career, and unfortunately, she's not getting a main event spot for WrestleMania, but at least she has this opportunity to make a moment happen. And in my honest opinion, Bayley needs this the most. So I'm going with Bayley on this one. Io Sky, I think she's done all right as a champion. It's just, I think it could have been a little bit better, just a little bit better. But I think for like I said, this is about finishing the story. That's the whole theme about this WrestleMania. It's finishing that story, and I think this is Bayley's story to finish.
Definitely, man, definitely. I think it was kind of wrong. She didn't get to come on to the WrestleMania kickoff press conference thing they did, man. She didn't get to make an appearance. Right? She's not even on the poster for Mania or anything. It's like, what the hell is going on? You know? I mean, she won the Women's Royal Rumble this year. She should be front and center for the women's division. You know? It
And
doesn't make sense to me.
yeah, and well, there's a reason for that. The Rock overshadowed everything, and also if you think about it too, Rhea and Becky Lynch were having a face-off, so that basically gave away that they're both going to go at it at WrestleMania. But here they are promoting Cody Rhodes as the back-to-back Royal Rumble winner. But like you said, Bayley was not getting no notice. Like, she's been disrespected. And honestly, like, she could have had a great storyline going into WrestleMania. Like, get me wrong, like, they've done some good work where she's finally kicked out of Damage Control and all of that. But it's just like, how are you going to disrespect somebody that won an opportunity to main event WrestleMania? But
Yeah.
that's the issue. Quote, main event WrestleMania. If Rock was not in the picture, easily Bayley would have main evented WrestleMania because she deserves it. But since the Rock is in the picture now, you can't put the Rock anywhere else other than the main event. And like I said, that main event for night one is going to determine what happens for the
Yeah,
main event
man.
for night two.
I think
Yeah.
if they were smart, they would put The Rock and Roman against Cody and Seth. I think if they were smart, they would put that on the opening match of night one. That would be something to get the fans riled up. That'd be something the fans would love to see. It would make the show start off on a real high note. And then you could take either Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch or Bayley versus Io and put in that main event spot for night one. They would still get the main event that they were promised. Bayley would. Because Rhea and Becky doesn't necessarily have to have the main event. But Bayley won the Royal Rumble. That gives her a World Championship match at Mania. World Championship matches should be the main event. I mean, it's my thought, I mean, I may be wrong about it, but hell, it's my 2 cents on the issue. You know what I'm saying? You start the night off with a bang on night one with the tag team match, and then night two you can start off with that ladder match. Another way to start the shows off with a bang, and you end them with a bang, But hell, that's just my thought.
Yeah. I think the issue with The Rock is like, look at the story that was told between Rock, Cody, and Seth. Roman has kind of been there, but honestly, Roman's felt like the third wheel between Rock and Cody. But look what Rock has done to promote his angle with Cody and Seth. Like, he's been doing Instagram and Twitter videos because, like, this is stuff that he wants to say on live television, but they don't have a lot of time. And even when you do have these opportunities to tell this on live television, they go over time, and some stuff has to be cut down and stuff. Now, that's an issue and all, but like that's their own personal problem they have to deal with. But if the Rock has really turned this whole WrestleMania event around to really make everyone want to see what's going to happen. Because he literally whipped the dude with a weight belt. Put his blood on the Mama Rose weight belt. How can you not put that as the main event of a WrestleMania? Because that just gets very close and personal for sure. But I do agree that the Royal Rumble is there for a reason, and it is to main event WrestleMania. And if you're not going to have the winners not main event WrestleMania, then what's the whole point in putting, oh yeah, and the winner will receive a championship match of their choosing at the main event of WrestleMania? At that point, just say then, and the winner will face a championship of their choosing at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
That's all you have to do, just change it up. But But like it comes down to what they want to do with the lineup of the card. And I said, if I have it my way, put those winners as the main event.
So there's only two people. I agree with what you've said completely. But there's only two people I could see in this whole WrestleMania picture walking in with their championships and walking out, honestly, and that's Rhea Ripley and Gunther. I mean, I love the Rocky story we got with Sami Zayn this past Raw, but man, I just don't see him walking away with the victory over Gunther, and I don't see Becky Lynch taking the championship off of Rhea Ripley with the year she's had and how over she is right now, because she is over like Rover, man. Like,
oh yeah,
mommy is always on top. Mommy's always on top. So, I mean, that's the way it's going to work.
Yeah, that's what the fans always say about Rhea Ripley. She's always on top.
She's.
But,
you ain't wrong.
Yeah,
I'm a fan. So.
Well, I'm a fan, but I ain't that thirsty. Damn. But like I said, like Rhea Ripley, like let's just be honest. When it first started out, her opponents weren't really the best at that point. She still got a good match out of them, but it's just like it's not what we expected. But as she continued on, it actually got better. And let's face it, Rhea Ripley needs this win to really solidify her title reign and make it something that will be remembered. And what better person to make this happen than Becky Lynch? Because let's face it, we've been waiting for this for a long time, and we're finally getting it. And with Gunther, Gunther, like, Jesus, man, like the guy, a solidified champion, and you know how they say that the champion makes the championship, or the championship makes the champion. Like Gunther is so main event ready. He is so ready to go get that world championship. Now, they're saying Sami Zayn, it's like the Rocky story, but honestly, Cody Rhodes is the Rocky story. But nothing to throw away about Sami. Like, I just feel like Sami Zayn shouldn't be in the mid card picture. He should be focusing on the main event picture with the world title. But there could only be a certain amount of people that can get that chance for WrestleMania. But honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if Gunther beats Sami, but you make it somehow, some way where he wins the World Heavyweight Championship opportunity while still the Intercontinental Champion to face the World Champion at Bash at Berlin. Because let's face it, Bash at Berlin, that's got to be where Gunther wins the world title. And if he wins the world title, still the Intercontinental Champion, he can literally... Well, the thing is, like, you don't want to just resign the championship, but, like, if he's already at the World Championship, he doesn't need that Intercontinental Championship anymore. Like, he's already outgrown it. Now he's about to start his new reign with the championship of the world title. And then now you can find someone that can be a fine champion for the Intercontinental Championship. Because you don't want to just have Gunther lose, and that could affect his push going to the main event. But like, I think he can take a loss, but then at the same time, it's just like, then it's like, oh, he can be beatable. I feel like he needs to be unbeatable. He needs to be unbeatable as soon as he gets that world title, and then have that world title for a good bit, and then make him beatable for someone. If someone beats him, I guess you can say, they're going to be someone that's going to be the next big name for wherever promotion he's going to be at, whether it's Raw or SmackDown. Someone's going to make a name for themselves once they beat Gunther, for sure. But
definitely,
yeah.
I think, man. So going from those two, that, like I said, I think, and I'm assuming you agreed with me on that. From what it sounded like, they're going to hold, both of them are going to keep their titles, at WrestleMania, I think. But, talking about the tag team match, the big tag team match, and it's not even the one for the titles. The big tag team match directly influences two matches, when you think about it. If Cody and Seth lose, for one, Cody's got to go against Roman in Bloodline Rules. And Seth Rollins is going to be beat the hell up going into his match against Drew McIntyre. You know, if he takes a loss against them, will he take a loss against Drew? What's your thought on that?
Well, I think we know for sure that if you really think about it, it's really hard to really pick a team to win because, like, nobody needs to be taking a pin going into the next night. Like you were saying, if anyone needs to take a pin, it's The Rock. But I don't think The Rock is losing at all. He ain't taking a pin. But I think what was that?
Yeah, I was going to say, all I was going to say is not unless Cody's the one that pins The Rock. That's the only way that I could see The Rock taking the pin. You know, if Cody pins The Rock, then that is the end of their story for now. Because I could still see The Rock coming back and maybe trying to go against him at SummerSlam or something like that, you know. But, or potentially something like that. But I think that, if I'm being honest, I would love to see Cody and Seth win. But I think The Rock and Roman, they've got it. They've got to win that match. That way the crazy shenanigans can happen in the big Universal title match. You know what I mean? Because there's teases, and people have said, I think there's been reports that Steve Austin and Cena's going to be there at Mania. I mean,
I know what you're talking about. That was when Rock was beating down Cody outside in the rain, and then you see one of those production trucks. You have Cena and Stone Cold's face on the production truck. But like you said, like, honestly, to really make night 2 the main event the most intense, nerve-wracking ever, The Rock and Roman Reigns need to win. And and here's my thing. Honestly, Rock pins Cody Rhodes. Seth does not need to get pinned at all. If anyone is getting pinned, it is Cody Rhodes because that just adds more adversity to his potential chance of winning the championship. But now it's Bloodline Rules. But they did a Bloodline Rules match on Raw, and it's just basically a no disqualification match. But but you know, it's always that interesting twist to make it seem like it's their rules, so they can do whatever they want. And that's always been the format for Roman Reigns. There's always shenanigans. There's a ref bump. Bloodline interferes. Ref is back up and moving around. Roman's hits the spear. 1, 2, 3. Wins and retains the championship and get the heck out of Dodge. And we don't see him again for the next few months. And that's the thing too. Like, if Cody Rhodes, let's just be honest. If Cody Rhodes does not win in night 2, you literally ruin your biggest babyface of the company. And not just that, but you're going to lose a chunk of fans that do not want to watch WWE anymore because you literally wasted everybody's time again. Because literally, it was literally the right time to beat Roman Reigns last year on 39. That didn't happen. But you have built all this stuff up with Roman, with Cody, and then the introduction of The Rock. Like, you built this much and done this much that there's no chance and there's no way you're just going to say F you to the fans and have Roman win. If Roman wins, no one's not going to be invested in the WWE anymore. Like, Cody has to win unless you come up with some crazy ending, some kind of crazy ending to make someone be invested one more year. And I have heard people say, like, hey, just have Triple H pedigree Cody Rhodes at the very end. Let Triple H get involved and just screw Cody Rhodes out of the match. That's what apparently some people have said, but Let's just face
Oh my
it.
God.
We don't want to see that. We just Cody Rhodes needs to win, hands down. If he doesn't win, I'm not watching WWE anymore. I'll just watch AEW and try to see if I can survive an episode or two of watching shenanigan going on.
I think you're right. If Cody doesn't win, I don't know that they ruined their best baby face, but I think if Cody doesn't win, I think they've wasted 2 years of storytelling for no reason. And people did say that the story, and well, not people, the story that Cody is living isn't beating Roman at Mania. It is winning the WWE Championship, the title that his dad never won. That's the story Cody's telling. They're building it like it's something else, but that's always been the story Cody's been telling, and he said it since the beginning. You know? So, I mean, even if he doesn't beat Roman, I mean, if he doesn't beat Roman and Roman wins, all of the Cody fans like you and me will be completely pissed off. But if he does win, you're going to have the other half of the audience that are holding them ones up, that are pissed off that Roman didn't beat Hulk Hogan's record now. They built all of this title reign history.
Well,
Yes, Troy Twain. What is your question, sir?
actually, he is going to beat Hulk Hogan's record, not for holding the championship for the longest time, but he's going to beat his record of main eventing WrestleMania the most times. So technically, he is beating Hulk Hogan's record. So nothing
That's a good
against
point.
nothing against him losing the championship and not beating his record for holding that title for so long. But if you really think about it, look at what happened with the story from 39 to 40. What has Roman Reigns has done in between those times? Like
He's
I know he
He
had
had
the
the feud
match
with
with,
LA Knight.
yeah, and
Yeah.
apparently people didn't like the match, from what I've heard. Then of course he had the matches with the Usos and then Jay, and let's just be honest, they jumped the shark by having Jimmy turn on Jay, which makes no sense. And
Yeah.
from that point on, they just lost all. They had nothing left to think of. And the only time they got fired back for this whole championship run was when The Rock was introduced. But like I
What do you
said,
think, man? I do think that The Rock could potentially turn on Roman by the end of night two.
uh, I can see it. I can
Like,
see him potentially turning on him, but that's I
imagine,
don't
all
think.
right, like, imagine, Cody and Seth wins night one. That makes Cody free on night two, and Roman's losing. And The Rock said that they're not going to interfere or anything, but Roman's losing, so he calls out Solo or Jimmy, and they come running out. And then The Rock comes out, and he's like, no, 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 this isn't the way it's going to work because I gave my word, and my word is my bond, whatever he says. And then that's that. And then he starts fighting, and him and Roman have the big head to head at that point. But maybe that would be jumping the gun. I don't know.
Well, my thing is, I don't think to me to make a story interesting is you don't have Rock screw over Roman. You have Roman lose to Cody, and then Roman leaves for a while. And then here's the thing: you can either have a match between The Rock and Cody for the championship, but Roman comes back and stops Rock from winning because that's his championship that he lost and he wants it back. And then, but I guess as soon as Roman gets another chance at it, then you can have Rock screw Roman out of it and make it a storyline to where there can only be one person head of the table. And at WrestleMania 41, you have Roman versus Rock. Who's really the man, the tribal chief of the bloodline? And you
Yeah.
can make that into a whole year story. But I feel like if Rock turns on Roman at WrestleMania, I think it's too early. Like, you need to build that into it. Yeah. Like, remember, the whole Bloodline saga is chapters upon chapters. This is a chapter that needs to take its time and then finish at the next year's WrestleMania. If Rock can stay healthy enough, and if Roman is going to stay long enough to have that match. Because, like, everybody wants to see that match. It's a dream match, hands down. People want to see Roman versus Rock. But we didn't want to see it at this year's WrestleMania because we have invested too much time into Cody Rhodes to finally finish this story. And, you know, the reports say was that The Rock finally got his position with the executives of TKO, not even before Royal Rumble. So if you had it my way, if you wanted to be Rock and Roman, then why wasn't Rock in the Royal Rumble? Why was he number 30? Why didn't he show up and eliminate Cody Rhodes, say, F your story, and he's the winner of the Royal Rumble to go fight Roman for the title? Now, the thing is, I think I can agree and you can agree, Rock ain't beating Roman Reigns if the championship's on the line. That's just, it's already telling you that he's winning because it's too predictable.
Yeah.
But if you don't have the championship involved in just determining who is the head of the table, now that is a story where you don't know who can win. Because from then on, anybody can win. Because if you think about it, Roman Reigns is the head of the table of professional wrestling. Mm-hmm. But Rock, he's the head of TKO, and he's the one that's been making all the money for the Bloodline. Yeah. So there's two different dynamics. He makes the money in Hollywood. He makes the money in wrestling. So it'll be interesting to see, but let's wait until 41 for that match to happen. If they're willing to wait until the next year's WrestleMania for that to happen.
All right, let's go quick rounds because I know we're starting to run short on time, all right? Drew versus Seth. Who do you got and why?
Drew, because let's face it, he has done so much incredible work from literally destroying CM Punk for the last few weeks to the months of him winning that him taking him out at the Royal Rumble and just turning that situation into the biggest heat he's ever gotten. Like, he is at his best work right now as a heel.
AJ Styles versus LA Knight. Who you got and why?
I'm going to have to go with AJ. AJ does not have the best. AJ does not have the best records when it comes to WrestleMania. I just think AJ needs us more. And LA Knight, I'm sorry. I would say I would like for him to win, but I would prefer if he went up against Logan Paul for the U.S. title. That's just my honest opinion.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man. Okay, and then you got the U.S. title match. Paul, KO, Orton. Who you got?
Logan Paul, because let's face it, I want to see LA Knight fight Logan Paul and beat him for the championship. Let's please have it at SummerSlam for Pete's sake, because it's in Cleveland at his home turf, so let's make that happen.
Right on, right on. LA Knight needs to win a championship, and who better to take it from than Logan Paul, man? Then LA Knight could say, there's only one real megastar. Yeah! And he is your U.S. champion. Yeah!
Yeah!
But, okay, what other matches are there? You said Awesome Truth in the tag team match is going to get one of the straps. Who do you think is going to get the other one?
New Catch Republic. Let's go Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne. Let's just do it.
Right on, right on. They deserve it, man. Both of them former UK champions. I think both of them former NXT tag team champions at one point. They deserve it for sure. I would love to see them win it, man, for sure. Someone I wouldn't like to see win it is Team A-Town Down Under. I don't want to see them win the championship. They're annoying as hell. Grayson Bloody Walla.
If there's something I will agree, they have definitely made a name for themselves as a tag team. They are getting some heat, but New Cash Republic all day, every day. Like literally, it's two of the biggest guys in the company that are just on the rise right now, and they deserve this, honestly.
We got
And you do have
good.
DIY in there, and it's their first WrestleMania in the 10 years they've been in the company. But I don't know. Those are just my personal picks, honestly.
You think Judgment Day breaks up after Mania?
If anything, Raw after Mania. I do believe that Dominic Mysterio is going to go team up with Andrade. Rhea Ripley, she's going to go on her own. Damian Priest, I don't know, cash it in
He's
and lose. At this point, I don't care anymore. Like, in my honest opinion, he should have cashed it in at last year's SummerSlam, where Finn should have beaten Seth, and then they do the whole Evolution betrayal where they kick Finn out of the group, and he cashes in and takes the world title. That should would have happened. Um, JD, well, he was kicked out of the Judgment Day because R-Truth beat him, so I don't know why he's still hanging around. And Finn, like honestly, Finn's gonna be a solo guy for sure, and he still needs his world title back because he didn't get an opportunity to even showcase what he can do as a world champion because he had to relinquish it the next day.
Speaking of Dominic Mysterio, he's tagging with Santos Escobar to take on Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee at Mania. Who you got in that one?
I would like to see Dominic and Escobar win that one, but have Dominic pin Rey Mysterio. So that way, when it comes to WrestleMania, they are one win apart.
Hmm.
Now let's settle the rubber match at next year's WrestleMania in the, I guess, what they call the hair versus mask match. And let that be Rey Mysterio's retirement match. If
That'd be
he wants
cool.
to retire by then.
That'd be really cool.
A 3 year long storytelling right there.
Dom is just such a good bad guy. The audience hates him to death, man. They boo him out. Like, you can't even hear him talking or anything on Raw whenever he starts trying to deliver a promo. Like, he starts talking and the audience is just overpowering him with boos. It's just great. I laugh every time. I pop big whenever I'm sitting on the
Yep.
couch watching it, man. Um,
Here's
I,
a hot take,
Mhm.
and this is a hot take. Dominic Mysterio is the top heel of the company. In a question, in a statement, he's the top heel.
I agree. I think he is, man. I think he is. I think he's the top pure heel in the company because I don't think there are many people that are not, kind of this way as a heel in the WWE. You see a lot of people that are like, sometimes they do stuff that's questionable and other times they do stuff that's more noble, but they're never like fully over bad as a bad guy. You don't see a lot of really bad guys. Dominic is always just an asshole, a little shit, so that's
Well,
what you get out of him.
but here's the thing: like he wasn't, like I said, like as a babyface, he was just Ray's kid.
Hmm.
As soon as he turned heel, he became more than just Ray's kid. He became Dirty Dominic Mysterio.
The
And
condom.
let me tell you something. Yeah, let me tell you something. That WrestleMania appearance, his entrance, Chef's Kiss. Like I love that. It made it so. It was so unique and something you don't see every day anymore.
Yeah, definitely, man, definitely. Uh, I think we have one or two more matches. All right, so a match that honestly I wish I could care more about is the Pride versus the AOP and Karrion Cross. I don't know who would win that one, and I don't really have enough interest in it to have a vote in it. Do you?
Oh man, if you really think about it, well, the Carrion Script's called the Final Testament, and they've been literally destroying the pride of Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits. if any, like, my gut tells me that Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits are winning, but in my heart, I would like to see the Final Testament win. But honestly, it can go either way. The only issue like, let's talk about Karrion Kross real quick. It's sad to see where he has gone from NXT to the main roster. Because at NXT, he was a monster. He was such a unique character that he's just a flat out psychopath. With the bald head, the entrance, just everything about him was unique and something that is far different from anybody else. And I'll tell you this, he has never been the same. And you want to know why? Because he showed up on Monday Night Raw undefeated as the NXT champion and lost to Jeff effing Hardy in minutes, and not just got beat by Jeff Hardy, but Jeff Hardy cheated to win that match. And since then, he has never recovered. I don't think he's ever recovered from that night. Because that's the night that his career got ruined. And here he is. He doesn't have heat. No one can get behind him. And it's sad. Because I thought he was such a cool character, and look where he is now. Like, they don't know what to do with him. So what do? They paired him up with Authors of Pain, and I don't know who their manager's name is, like Paul something.
Paul Ellering.
But Paul Ellering, yeah. But even with that, I don't think they're getting the reaction that they need. But I think if they do beat the Pride, it will mean something. So, like I said, I think the Final Testament really need this. But at the same time, you could say that the Pride's going to win. But hey, it's a 6-man Philly street fight, so it could get interesting. But we'll see what happens.
The last match there is another 6-person tag team match, but this one I feel like is more obvious. You know, Damage Control isn't going to beat Bianca, Naomi, and Jade Cargill. It's not going to happen. Nope. They gotta make Jade look super strong in her first Mania appearance. They have to. If they don't, what was the point in all the hype and all the vignettes and all the strong looks and stuff if she doesn't win her first actual match on the roster, you know? I mean, and at Mania, for that matter, I mean, there's no way that Damage Control is coming out on top in this match.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the only reason why this is happening is because, like, you don't want to jump the gun and have Jay go one-on-one with Bianca just yet. Because if she still has some kind of work that needs to be done in the ring, you don't want to expose her yet. Because if you expose her and show that she's actually not ready, the fans could easily turn on Jade. But in the 6-man the 6-women tag match, I'm always saying 6-man because that's usually what we always say.
Yeah.
But 6-woman tag match, it protects her more. And honestly, if I have it my way, don't tag Jade in until the last sequence. Have her do the comeback. Have her beat down every single one of them, and have her pin one of Damage Control to win the match. That's how you make her strong. That's how you keep her interesting, and that's how you protect her without exposing her if anything would have happened in a one-on-one confrontation.
Yeah.
But Jade and Bianca is going to happen one way or another. It's probably just going to be 41 when it happens.
Let her get the hot tag, run wild, and the only person that I could see her pinning in this situation to not make anybody that needs to look strong look weak would be Dakota Kai. She has to pin Dakota Kai because the other two are the tag team champions, you know? So Dakota Kai is the obvious scapegoat for the pin. But
Definitely.
I think we covered Mania 40 pretty well, you know, through a little bit of a rocky terrain, as far as the video goes. But I think we covered WrestleMania 40 pretty well, man. But right now it looks like we're running a little bit short on time. So we're going to end this episode the same way I end every episode. And that is with 3 things we're grateful for. For me, it usually doesn't change all that much, you know. It's always my support system. It's always the people that's coming on the show like you that I'm super grateful for being here. And it's always, 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 the good Lord above for giving me the breath, the air I breathe, and the family that I have and friends all around me. What are 3 things that you're grateful for in this very moment?
Well, I don't remember what I said last time, but if I'm going to go with 3, I am grateful to have family and friends that has been there for me since day one. The second, I am grateful of where I have come to as a man, whether in my personal life or in my wrestling life. And third, I'm grateful for the opportunities that South Central Wrestling and Vapors Championship Wrestling has given me. Because let's face it, South Central Wrestling is my home because that's where I got my start. And as a cruiserweight champion, I need to be on my A game and be the face of the division for the cruiserweights and just for the promotion in general. And with VCW, I'm grateful for them to give me the opportunity to debut for the event, have an incredible moment with 125 people, and with this event coming up in May 11th. And I'm going up against 4 people that I have history with Wade Matthews, CJ Jenkins, Jimmy Buffet, and William J. Blackwell. 4 people that are deserving to even become the first champion, but I feel like this is my time. This is my moment to really sink in that me being I guess you can say, the best kept secret in wrestling for Arkansas is going to finally show up finally. And I'm willing to give it everything I got to become the first ever VCW heavyweight champion and finally prove to everybody that I have the opportunity to take a promotion to the highest peak they can get to and really showcase that I can be a champion for another promotion.
Definitely, man. Definitely. Is there anything you want to talk about, promote, talk about it in any way or say anything about before you get off here, man?
Yes, like I said, if you're in Arkansas, South Central Wrestling, April 27th, we got April Fight Night. It's going to be me taking on the storybook Lord Gaston for my SCW Cruiserweight Championship. And not only that, but I will finally figure out who I'm going to be fighting in the May event between Kyle Love and Sebastian Envy. Cruiserweight Championship opportunity is on the line. And, of course, May 11th, VCW is the new standard, where in the main event, we will determine who is the VCW heavyweight champion, the first ever in a 5-way elimination match. You definitely don't want to miss that. And let me tell you something. If you missed the first show, you got to be there for the second one because it's going to get even better.
Definitely, man. Definitely. Well, thank you for coming on here, dude. I really appreciate you being here, man. It means a lot to me that you'd stop by again, you know? I always had a good time whenever I talked to you. I had a good time the first time, and I think about an even better time this time I got to talk to you, you know? So we'll have to get you back on again, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey, I'm always willing to come back on this podcast and talk about stuff because, like I said, you have an incredible platform. You have done a lot of work. Like you had Ken Anderson of all people come to your podcast and actually did an episode, which honestly that is amazing. And hopefully you get some more people to come to your podcast and
I'm working
have a
on
good
it.
time as well.
I'm working on it, man. I'm working on getting some bigger names. I had Ken Anderson on and I had Johnny Morton on so far. Johnny Morton and Matt Riviere, the 2 guys that ran the CWA here in Arkansas, whenever they came to the convention center like 2 or 3 different times. So I had him on the show. He was he's been in the wrestling business since the early '90s. So I mean, he's wrestled with all kinds and learned from all kinds of people and has a bountiful knowledge of different stuff. So it was cool having him on. I've been in conversations with several names of people who are in bigger promotions. Let's just say that. Bigger worldwide promotions. How about that? I've talked to several people and I've got some stuff I'm working on. So hopefully I can get them on in the near future and we'll have some more really cool episodes like the Mr. Anderson episode, But man, it's been awesome having you on. I'm very thankful that you got to come on here today and, have a great rest of your night, buddy.
I'm going to try my best and just, keep at it and really get ready for these fights coming up because I don't plan on losing my championship and I plan on getting another championship around my shoulder.
Definitely, man. Well, have a great rest of your night, buddy.
You too, man.
I had a lot of fun. That's one thing I can say. No, we did not get all of our predictions correct. I can tell you that I think we got the majority of them though. But it was a fun time talking to Troy, man. I always have a good time talking to him. We cut up a lot. We had a little bit of camera malfunction throughout the episode, trying to film it, but it was so fun, guys. It was an awesome time hanging out with Troy, and I can't wait to do it again. So thank you, Troy, for coming on. Current Cruiserweight champion, going against Gaston, going for the first ever Vapors Championship Wrestling Heavyweight Championship, May 11th. Good luck in that, my friend. It's going to be an awesome show, just like the first one was. And I can't wait. Hopefully, I'm able to get there and see it. But guys, that's going to do it for this episode. I've had a lot of fun. I hope you have too. Just never forget to always listen when Adam talks. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day, evening, night, whenever you're watching or listening to this. And we will see you very, very soon.